These latest headlines from ABC15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.
Hey, happy Saturday. I'm Amelia Fabiano with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. Dozens forced to find a new place to stay after the state cracked down on an unlicensed facility in Tempe. So this used to be a Ramada Inn, but had been operating as a shelter by Newfound Hope LLC. That organization had been suspended by Arizona's Medicaid agency. Arizona's Department of Health Services telling ABC15 they found Newfound Hope was operating an unlicensed treatment facility. Dozens then forced to move out, some uncertain though of where they'd go next.
There have been a number of families that have been confused and frustrated with the situation, and they have taken a walk because they don't understand what's going on. And that's where we need an accelerated level of outreach to in the North Tempe area to absorb the problem and provide service provision.
DHS tells us their investigation here is ongoing. Turning now to some new details after some Arizona sober living facilities were accused of defrauding the state and preying on indigenous people. Last year, the state found that potentially hundreds of millions of dollars in funding had been taken by facilities that overinflated or lied about their care. Navajo leaders say tribal members were often convinced to leave their homes to go to these facilities. A new state Senate bill, though, would put in place measures including greater fines to discourage the practice.
We're really hoping that the state leadership listens to our Navajo people, even though we are 4 to 5 hours away, but it does not mean that we shouldn't be taken for granted that we're crying out for justice for a lot of our people back at home.
The bill was introduced at the beginning of the month. It's now waiting for its first committee vote. Well, 2022 was the deadliest year in at least a decade for Arizona workers. There were reportedly 103 deadly work injuries in our state that year. That's according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's a 54% jump from 2021, when 67 worker deaths were reported. So of the 103 work-related deaths, 38 were from transportation-related incidents. The second largest incident type was falls, slips, or trips, with 21 of those being reported. Arizona is growing as a tech hub. Tempe-based Amcor is set to open a $2 billion semiconductor packaging and testing plant over in Peoria. It'll complement TSMC, the multi-billion-dollar chip factory just a few miles east of there. The site will also be home to 5 North, a shopping center with restaurants and apartments, as well as a school.
The reality is the majority of citizens love this project. The majority of citizens know that if we're creating jobs, we can bring that growth of restaurants and all the amenities with that.
Some neighbors, though, say they're concerned. The plant will be near a residential area, but Peoria Mayor Jason Beck says it will actually be closer to the 303 and farther away from neighborhoods. The project is expected to create about 2,000 jobs and be operational by 2027. Take me out to the ball game. Sloan Park and Mesa stepping up to the plate to serve some delicious new items. On the menu this year, the Grand Slam nachos, the jalapeno cheddar hot dogs, and carne asada fries. But of course, they still got all the old favorites. The park also debuting a new grab and go located near center field. You can find more spring training fun online right now at ABC15.com.
Happy Saturday. I'm Nohelani Graff with your most accurate forecast. The 80s are back in play this weekend, and it's going to be a warmer one at that. We will have mostly cloudy skies as we move through the weekend, but we'll stay dry. And we'll see a high of 81 today, 84 tomorrow, which would be the warmest day of the year so far. Of course, it's the first full weekend of spring training and associated events. The Renaissance Festival is still happening. Biggest difference between today and tomorrow, hour by hour, the temperatures will be warmer tomorrow. So today we're starting off in the 50s. By noon, we're in the low 70s, and then we peak at 81 in that 4 o'clock hour. Tomorrow by noon, we'll be in the mid 70s and peaking in the mid 80s. Across the rest of the state today, more 70s and 80s to our south and west, 60s for central Arizona, and along the rim, we've got a mixed bag of mid to upper 50s and low 60s. The 80s will take us here in the valley through Monday, and then we've got rain chances moving in Tuesday and Wednesday. Our temps go back into the 70s, and we've got snow chances up north, 50% come Tuesday.
As always, for the latest headlines, weather, and traffic, head to our website, ABC15.com, or go ahead and download that free ABC15 mobile app. Have a great Saturday.
These latest headlines from ABC15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.